SuperKamiGuru9000. What you know about reviewing Naruto? When you've been loving this chapter for one page, we be writing the review. By the way, you guys, that was a parody of the intro of Epic Mealtimes videos. You should really go check out their channels. It's a hilarious channel about them making epic meals and then the whole process and them eating it. And it's very vulgar and funny and interesting. Corey, you've watched their videos before. You think they're awesome, right?
They make me hungry.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
All right, chapter opens up with Shikaku in the war room, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to take care of this Zetsu problem. And, you know, the little slug there, Katsuyu is there, trying to, you know, give her input, but they're like, screw you, we don't care about you.
So, Tsunade, Naruto, Killer Bee, Raikage, we're right back where we left off. And, well, we don't want to get in too much depth with this part, but it's pretty much Bee used Talk No Jutsu against the Raikage, and then Naruto uses Talk No Jutsu against the Raikage, and there's a lot of symbolism. And for some reason, everyone in Japan talks cryptic. Yeah, so...
Yeah, and that's the dominating part of this chapter. Aside from the last couple pages of the manga this week, you're going to see a lot of the stuff that we've seen Naruto do before, which is be an inspirational speaker. And
he's very good at that.
Yeah, and like Christian was saying, there's a lot of crypticism. Is crypticism a word? And symbolism. And I don't care if it's a word now. About how B's mentioning that he has a son, as in the sun in the sky, in him, and that's what's able to make him, you know, be such a great ninja. And then he mentions that Naruto actually has two sons, at which the Raikage is like, huh? And then Naruto does his, my mommy and daddy! Oh! Yeah, I love them! They're dead! They could have been alive and helped me and lived with me through the rest of my life, but they decided to die! And then make an appearance when the village monster bursts out of me and decides to take out half the village.
But we're cool now, you know.
Yeah, it's all good.
So that's pretty much the symbolism in that big, long, talky part of the chapter.
When Raikage hears about Naruto talking about his dad, he realizes he's obviously talking about the fourth Hokage. And it's been pretty clear now that Jiraiya went around the ninja world preaching the good word about the fourth Hokage, basically referring to him as the savior, the Jesus ninja. And this is interesting because now that he's dead...
the ninja world.
Yeah. And he's dead now, but now Naruto has officially become well aware that he's the main character in his own manga, and he knows that he is now the savior of the ninja world. And the only way to really test this now is for Raikage to get up in his grill.
Yeah, I mean, B was kind of surprised when Raikage was about to attack Naruto, and he even like, oh man, my brother's going full strength. And Naruto dodges a full strength blow from Raikage. And this is pretty much Raikage's way of seeing if he's truly there. He doesn't fall to Talk No Jutsu as well as all the other characters do. He needs to have some sort of physical representation. So Naruto dodges the move, and then Raikage's pretty much like, go get him. I trust in you.
You know, they call him the Yellow Flash yet again.
Yeah,
so Naruto's now able to just basically teleport or just move very, very fast without the use of the kunai like the fourth Hokage did.
I mean, we could talk about this in depth because I personally don't think he's flashing like the fourth did. I think he's just so fast. When he's moving, it looks like a yellow flash.
He's supersonic.
He's supersonic. He got all the Chaos Emeralds. So Naruto heads off to the war. Finally, Naruto will enter this war, and I bet probably he's going to be killing some Zetsus, first of all, because of his power. And that leads us into the war room, because they are trying to solve the Zetsu problem. And they keep interrupting the damn slug, and it's like, I think I kind of know what we could do, you guys. And they're like, no, we really need to figure this out.
Shikaku's there, and he's talking, and he's like, if only we had Naruto here, because with his brand new abilities, he's able to sense the evil chakras of people, and we could use his shadow clones and put them all over the battlefield. And then finally Katsuyu's like, well, Naruto's coming.
Yeah, so that works out. Wow, amazing. The story comes together.
But the last page of this chapter is really the best part about it.
Hands
we get
down.
to see the triumphant return of the 6 paths of pain. And not the ones that you're used to either. No. These guys are a little more over the top in a sense that, well, it's all the former Jinchuriki.
Yeah, I mean, they have the Rinnegan Eye and the Sharingan Eye. And guess who's controlling them? The most hacks villain in Naruto, Madara. So now he has a new 6 paths of pain, which is all former Jinchuriki. Oh my gosh, like, this is a really awesome last page. We need to say that. Like, This page is just so full of awesome. I was just expecting these people just to show up in front of Naruto and fight because I think it's appropriate for the Jinchuriki to fight, Naruto and B. I think that would kind of be the best fight for them to have. Maybe not. So, what did we think about Naruto Chapter 544? Well, it was a one-page wonder chapter. I mean, I couldn't say it any other way. We got a whole bunch of talk no jutsu with Raikage and Naruto and B. And then we got a little bit of War Room, and then we got this epic page at the end. And that's really about it. Like, kind of left me wanting more. Like, I got to the end of the chapter, and I was like, that was awesome, because it ended on such an awesome cliffhanger note. But then it was like, oh, they've done this before during this arc. They build up characters. They build up these situations. Remember the Kage versus Gaara? Seven Swordsman versus Kakashi and his Rampage. Like, they don't finish these. They just sort of, like, toss it out there, and then they just are like, this might happen. And it really got me excited, but the more I thought about it and really was, sitting down to review this chapter, the more I was like, maybe this chapter wasn't as epic as I kept hearing everywhere online.
No, I completely agree. One final cool panel does not save a chapter from being the greatest. The only thing I can say that was redeeming qualities about the first half of the chapter was, it's always kind of cool to read what Naruto has to say, and he always does have something kind of inspirational to say. But really, it's just more of the same, more of the stuff that's been reinforced before. The only thing we've really learned here about Naruto is how fast he's become, or how much he can teleport. But
Mr. Yellow Flash.
Yeah, but the thing is about the whole bit with the 6 paths at the end, that just opens even more questions. Because, one, we already know that Pain before, he used them, and he controlled these bodies with the chakra rods.
Yeah.
Which are not present within these because, obviously, they're Edo Tensei. And this is where the thing gets kind of confusing. They're Edo Tenseis that have been summoned by Kabuto, but they have eyes that have been implanted from Madara. And I don't know about you, but I don't know where he's getting these extra Rinnegan eyes from. We did see that he had a bunch of vials in his lab that had possibly some Sharingan eyes.
And that was after Danzo died. We got that cool.
And that's completely understandable because he was a part of the Uchiha massacre. But I don't remember the Rinnegan massacre. I don't know where he's getting this. Maybe he has some way of being able to clone these eyes somehow. I don't know. Maybe he has this other mysterious ability. Maybe he hangs out with Aizen on the weekends. I just don't know. But that's the thing. I can't wait to see what's going to happen here. Maybe this is all part of Kabuto's plan to maybe trick Madara. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe Madara gets a false sense of security around these Jinchuriki and this Edo Tensei Jinchuriki, and then all of a sudden Kabuto takes back control of them. Technically, we don't even know if Madara is going to take control of them. Maybe he just, upgraded them for Kabuto to use.
And it makes sense, too, because we've seen that Kabuto had an ulterior motive in that he wants to learn the secrets of the Sage of the 6 Paths. This is perfect, because he summoned these Jinchuriki back, and Madara has now planted Rinnegan eyes for him that Kabuto can just take back himself.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, though, Corey, you were saying you didn't know where the eyes came from, but we also didn't know where the eyes came from on the original 6 Paths of Pain, because there were all these random eyes that just showed up. So there must be some method to that madness, or some method to that plot hole.
Well, there actually is.
There is?
Yeah, whenever Pain used, he was using that ability, even when they made the summons, their eyes see what he sees, so he's able to project those eyes into those bodies. Like, in the big summons, they had the Rinnegan eyes, too.
Yeah, technically.
But he didn't find giant animal Rinnegan eyes to
shove in
to
those
insert
big
in there.
iguanas.
So it makes sense. Maybe that's what Madara's doing. Maybe he's projecting his eyes into these things. But, there really isn't a clear explanation for that yet. And it just opens up, whatever could happen later. And like Christian was saying earlier, the chapter ended with all of them standing there, but for all we know, they may not, get right to this. We may not see these guys for another 10 chapters or so.
Yeah, maybe another month or two before we actually see them fight, and who knows, we could get hung up on this Zetsu spy nonsense for... I'm not saying it's nonsense, I shouldn't say it's not cool, but we could get hung up on this Zetsu thing for another 3-4 chapters before the night even ends and the next day of war starts. I mean, technically the chapter ends with saying the next day of war will begin, but, we do have all that Zetsu stuff to get to, so we have a lot of stuff left to get to.
As far as the number score this week, it was only really redeemed by the fact that we had that little bit at the end of the chapter with the 6 paths coming back. And without it, honestly, this chapter would have been a 6. But because of those guys being in there, we're going to bump the score up to a 7.
So, 7 out of 10 for this week's chapter, purely on one awesome last page. And like we said last week, one awesome last page does not make an awesome chapter.
And we're big Naruto fans. We could be really biased about this and, read that. And, I was excited when I read it at the end. But in retrospect, the chapter itself was so-so.
Yeah, just a lot of talk no jutsu. Okay, for a question this week, we have a two-parter. My part is, who the hell is in control of these Edo Tensei Jinchuriki? Is it Kabuto? Or is it Madara? Or is it a combination? I don't think Kabuto just gave those to Madara. Also, my personal opinion is he just upgraded them for Kabuto to use.
All right, and as far as my question goes is, as you know, the Six Paths of Pain all have a very specific ability, such as the Shinra Tensei, the soul-pulling ability, being able to summon that big-ass demon from hell. I want to know what you guys think. Of these 6, who do you think is going to use those abilities? Just let me know with a comment below.
So until next time, you guys, SuperKamiGuru9000 out.